Okay, hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to ACRS International Outreach Chapter IOC Seminar Series in collaboration with the School of Civil Engineering University Technology, MARA, on Malaysian Motorcycle Assessment Program, or MyMAP. My name is Masra Mustafa, and I'm the Associate Professor at the School of Civil Engineering, UITM, and I will be serving you as your moderator for today. You will be hearing a presentation from T.S. Zaril Hafiz Zulkifli, the head of Vulnerable Road Safety and Mobility Unit, or VROM, Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research, MIROS, Malaysia, on this very timely subject. Before we begin, just a little bit of housekeeping announcement. There will be 30 minutes presentation from Mr. Zaril, and at the end, we will be having question and answer session, and you can simply write down your question in the Q&A box. So now let me introduce the speaker. T.S. Zaril Hafiz Zulkifli is a principal crash reconstructionist and head of the unit for Vulnerable Road User Safety and Mobility Unit, VROM, under the Vehicle Safety and Biomechanic Research Center at the MIROS, or Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research. His research interests are traffic and road safety, injury biomechanics, and vulnerable road user safety, focusing on motorcycle safety and micro-mobility vehicles. He has been active in road safety research and crash construction for over 14 years, with involvement in more than 200 cases, and has published numerous papers related to injuries sustained in road crashes and road safety in local and international journals. He is a professional technologist registered with the Malaysian Board of Technologies, or MBOT. He was trained by Birmingham Automotive Safety Research, University of Birmingham in the UK, on an in-depth crash investigation in 2008, and had a formal course on crash reconstruction at Wayne State University in the USA back in 2013. His experience includes the role of principal investigators in high-profile crash investigations in Malaysia, and as expert witness for consultants, lawyers, and insurance companies. So I think without further ado, I would like to allow or welcome T.S. Zaril Hafiz Zulkifli for his presentation. So Mr. Zaril, the floor is yours. Mr. Zaril, I think you are on mute.
Okay, so is it okay now?
It's okay, and perhaps you can turn on your presentation mode.
I see. Okay, all right. So it's okay?
Yeah, good.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Masria, for introducing me, and also Dr. Rusdi for inviting me for today's webinar, and also ACRS for having me today. So good afternoon, everyone. And so my topic for today is Motorcycle Assessment Program, or it was called MyMAP for now. It's a new initiative under Malaysian Road Safety Research, and also with partnership with MARii. And the objective for the program is to give a rating for motorcycle, similar to what we have for NCAP. So a bit introduction on what I'm going to present today. So this is a brief agenda what I'm going to present today. So a little bit background on why we decide on embarking on this rating system for motorcycle, introduction on how the program is conducted, and also our latest rating for the motorcycle so far, and also current development for the program, and also our future direction for the program, right? So a little bit background for the program. I think I will touch a bit on why we decided to embark for this rating program. I think because I think everyone aware on NCAP, which is a rating program for car. So I think overall, I think there is around 9 or 10 program around the world now. So if you can see here, so I think the latest one is ASEAN NCAP, which is coordinated by MIROS. So this is actually our aspiration why we embark on this program, because we have a rating for car, but not yet for the motorcycle. So it is something that we think that we need to do, because the rating program for car doesn't actually cater for motorcycle, especially for the third world country, and also especially in the Asian region. If you can see it, this is just a brief new car assessment program around the world. Okay, so back to what I mentioned earlier, because why we decide on this program for motorcycle is because there is a lot of number of crash involving motorcycle, and if you can see around about half of the deaths around the world still are coming from the motorcyclists. So in Malaysia especially, we have about close to 60% of road death is coming from motorcycle user. Okay, so this another view on how the fatalities from different mode of vehicle around the world. If you can see here, in the Southeast Asia region, almost 50% are coming from the vulnerable user, including motorcyclists and also others like cyclists and also pedestrians. So this is something that why we decide on the rating program for motorcycle, because the current program for car isn't focused on the safety of motorcycle, although there are some rating programs, for example, ASEAN NCAP, that has just recently included the pillar for motorcycle in terms of their rating system. Okay, so a brief on traffic crash fatality in Malaysia. So if you can see, this is about around in 10 years period. So if you can see here, the total number of deaths every year in Malaysia is about 6,000, and more than half of the fatality are coming from motorcycle. If you can see here, even during the pandemic year in 2020, still the number of motorcycle is the highest. If you can see, even if we proportionate according to the number of total deaths, the number of motorcycle during the pandemic actually increasing. So it's around 67% from motorcycle death. Okay, so to address the issue, Malaysian government under the Ministry of Transport coming up with a new Malaysian road safety plan for starting from the year 2022 up to 2030. So the aim for this program is to reduce the number of deaths by 2030 by 50%. So I think this is aligned with what the decade of action, the UN decade of action, and also the Sustainable Development Goal for around the world. So if you can see here, if we reduce, if our target for number of fatality for motorcycle to achieve 50% reduction, so the number we hope to reach by the end of 2030 is around 2,000 from the motorcycle fatality. So it's about 50% reduction from fatality from motorcyclists. Okay, so to address or to achieve the target, the Ministry of Transport already come up with 10 priority areas that we Malaysian should focus on. So if you can see here, there are responsive governments and also there is pillar for safer vehicles. So for motorcycle, the pillar should be under this the pillar of safer vehicle and also the safer motorcycle riding. So this the main areas that we are concentrated for the motorcycle safety. So the program for MyMAP is actually a combine of these priority areas. Okay, so a bit more background on how we start the program. So in view of the success that we by conducting ASEAN new car assessment program, so we joint venture with another institute in Malaysia, MARii, to initiate the assessment program for motorcycle, because we see there is a huge gap between the technology that are applied in passenger car and also between the motorcycle. So with this program, we hope that we can expedite the application of new technology into the motorcycle as well. So this is just another data that we gather from motorcycle. So if you can see here, this is the data for from 2010 up to 2019, the total industry volume for the motorcycle in Malaysia. So if you can see here, in earlier, the huge number of motorcycle in Malaysia are in the category below 125 cc, but recently the motorcycle with higher engine capacity is getting more popular, and if you can see here is by 2018 is already surpassed the number for the low cc motorcycle. Okay, so a brief that will be the brief background for the program. So now I will introduce how the program is conducted. So this will be the MIROS initiatives on how we plan to increase the level of safety for motorcycles. So the program is actually based on our experience in conducting ASEAN NCAP, because prior to the ASEAN NCAP, we already established the MyMAP. So it's similar. We give rating to local passenger car, and then after a few years, with the help from global NCAP, we transform the MyMAP into ASEAN NCAP. So with that experience, we also try to follow the same route, so that we also could later on have a similar program for the motorcycle. So in brief, our mission for the program is to have safer mobility for all motorcycles in Malaysia. And as I mentioned earlier, is our mission to expedite the utilization of latest technology in the motorcycle, just like what the passenger car have. Okay, so the target for our program is based on the National Automotive Policy, NAP. So if you can see here, we have identified three main pillars, which are brake technology, which will be initial focus for the initial or preliminary stage of the program, and also support program. This will be in terms of training and education. And later on, we also will try to focus on new technology for rider assistant technologies, for example, telematics, ADAS, and other technology as well. And in the third stage, we hope that we could incorporate further new technology into the motorcycle, in terms of what most of the passenger car have now, in terms of vehicle sensing and also cognition technology. Like, I think this is already available in most of the passenger car now. For example, it's LiDAR, radar technology, even in terms of cybersecurity as well. And okay, next, our approach for the program is based on 4 pillars. So the number one pillar is based on compliance to UN regulation. So this is just basically what the motorcycle have to comply before they can enter the market in Malaysia. And the second one is audit and analysis on conformity of production. So this is just basically our check and balance on how they actually comply to the regulation that's set by the government for the motorcycle. So we audit whether they comply to the what they declare. And the third one is assessment of safety feature and new technology. So this is just basically our assessment for the model itself, whether they have and include new technology for the models. For example, the main technology that we are focused on now is brake technology. For example, is ABS and also CBS. And the last one is, I think this is will be a bit different to passenger car. So we include also the assessment for support program provided to the buyer by the manufacturer, because as you all know, motorcycle is a vulnerable user, so it's not like a passenger car where they have a protective shell. So when they crash, so they basically have a layer to protect them compared to motorcycle. So for motorcycle, we think that we cannot translate directly the way we approach program, how we rate the passenger car. So we include this unique pillar into the motorcycle, because the main priority for motorcycle is the user itself. Okay. So with the last pillar, our main intention, of course, is to in terms of behavioral intervention. So we would like, with those introduction of the support program pillar, we could change the driver behavior or the rider behavior through training program that are provided by the manufacturer of the motorcycle. So we hope that by having this program, or the unique pillar to the program, we hope that motorcycle manufacturers have those responsibility to educate their buyer to be more safe on the road. So this is a bit more detail on how we approach the last pillar support program. So for now, we give points, or we rate the support program in terms of whether the manufacturer offer the buyer in terms of motorcycle riding training, or also the buyer provides safe riding information, and also if the manufacturer provide to the buyer in terms of protective gear like helmet or other safety gear like glove and jacket. Okay, so how we give rating, or how we give point to the four pillar that I mentioned earlier. So for now, the way we wait
So sorry, there's an interruption. So perhaps we'll give like 1 or 2 minutes. We'll call Mr. Zarul back for the session. We are so sorry. We are trying to reach Mr. Zaril for him to continue again his slides or his presentation. So please be with us. Do not run away. 1 or 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, sorry everyone. I don't know what
Okay, Mr.
happened.
Zaril, perhaps you can.
Where
yeah.
did I left last time? Sorry.
I think before the latest rating.
Before the latest rating, here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, right. So our approach for the program is just like I show here. So we give point to each pillar. So for each pillar, we give certain point. For example, for now, we give for the first pillar 0.5, second pillar configuration 1.5, safety feature 2.5, and the last pillar 0.5, because for now, we give this kind of rating because what we want to stress for the first stage of the program is the technology. So that's why we want for all motorcycle in Malaysia to have a better brake system. So that's why we focus on safety features, so that all motorcycle in Malaysia should have ABS or better brake system. So that's why we assign in such way. So with this point, so this we assign the star rating. So if the motorcycle model obtain 4.5 and above, so the model should gain 5 stars. Okay. So the latest rating, this is the latest rating that we already conduct. So because the program actually only launched last year, so for now we only have 6 ratings so far. So the latest one for the rating is this Yamaha YZF. So this is, we already just announced the rating in last July. So we actually the rating for the MyMAP for the Yamaha is almost they gain almost a complete point for this one, almost a perfect score for this one, because it's the only motorcycle model that offer a specific training for this type. So whoever buy this specific model, they can access exclusive riding training program by the Yamaha. So that's why we award this motorcycle the highest point so far. Okay, so that's about the rating for now. So our developments in our current development for the program is so because how do we to entice the manufacturer and also the user for the program, we in collaboration with other parties as well to offer incentive to the manufacturer. So if they provide more safer motorcycles, so they should get more incentive. So for manufacturer, we offer tax incentive for them if they produce more motorcycle with 5-star rating and above, so they could get further tax incentive from government. And for the user, we plan to offer the insurance incentive for the customer who buy the motorcycle with 5-star. So now we are in talk with insurance provider in Malaysia. So the buyer who buy the motorcycle with 5-star model and a 5-star model, so they should entitle to get insurance discount. So the way we plan for insurance incentive for now is 2-tier system. The first tier is we the buyer who buy the motorcycle with 5-star and above, 5-star, they should get they should directly get the first stage discount. And if the buyer who buy the motorcycle went to the training that offered by the insurance provider, and also whether through MIROS and also through manufacturer, they should entitle further discount from the insurance. So this how we reward the buyer, so that through training, hopefully they can get safer on the road. So this is just another development that we are doing now. So in terms of training, now we also in talk with insurance provider to offer the training to the buyer of the motorcycle in terms of training, in terms of maybe they can have a choice whether they want to get the training through physical and also in terms of digital training. So this is maybe through apps they can install on their phone. So through this app, maybe we also include game type of training, so that they can gain point and also they can reduction in terms of insurance as well. So lastly, I think will be the future for the program. So this is basically our roadmap for the future of the program. So we plan hopefully to follow the ASEAN NCAP. So hopefully by the program matured by maybe next year, because by the end of this year, our track for testing is ready. So hopefully by early next year, we can change our criteria in rating the motorcycle from just from the fitment assessment into performance assessment. So we may change the rating from just auditing the conformity of production. So we may change how we rate in terms of performance test of the motorcycle. So we can test whether the performance in terms of the braking and also other criteria that we now plan, for example, conspicuity, and also others as well that we also discussing with manufacturer as well. So hopefully by 2023 we can move to the another level of rating. So by according to this roadmap, by 2024 or by 2023, we could expand further this program into ASEAN map. So hopefully we can not only rate the motorcycle in the Malaysian, we hopefully hope to also rate the motorcycle that are available in the ASEAN region as well. So similar to what we already did for passenger car through ASEAN NCAP program. So in the meantime, so by this, if you can see in the listed in the area is list the number of research or development that we are planning, because there are new technology that are available for motorcycles. So this need further research whether this is applicable to motorcycle, whether this will be ready soon for us to make it something that is really need to be in the motorcycle. Okay, I think that is basically what I can share today for MyMAP, and also hopefully ASEAN map soon. So any questions?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Zaril, for the interesting presentation. So we move on to question and answer session. So as I mentioned in the chat box, you will have the opportunity to submit the text question and then just write down your question on the question panel, and we'll answer that live. So we've got a few questions already. So the first question from Teresa. She really liked the last pillar regarding manufacturers support program. It is a very big gap in studies of Australian drivers, understanding of advanced driver assistance systems, including difficult to interpret information in manuals. Car assessments increasing go up to 5 stars over time, and new features are needed to innovate further increases in safety. So her question would be, has this been successful? Might this be worth consideration for NCAP? So perhaps Mr. Zarul, you have an answer for that?
I'm not really familiar on how the NCAP, how they are rated, but I can give example for Asian NCAP, because I think Asian NCAP is more toward the Asian region. So actually for Asian NCAP, they are already starting to introduce a specific pillar to access, to give more safety to the motorcycle. So for example, they now include the motorcycle pillar or vulnerable user pillar. So the main criteria they include for now is in terms of blind spot system. So if the car to have a 5-star, they need also pass the blind spot detection system. So this is applicable for the passenger car, so that the driver more aware toward the motorcycle in the surrounding the passenger car. So that's what I can share for Asian NCAP, but I'm not sure for NCAP though. Right.
Okay. So perhaps she might just link with you after the session to have more
yes,
insights on the particular topics. All right. Okay. So the second one from Mr. Mohsin. She thanks you for the presentation, and his first question is, if the third-party insurance mandatory for is the third-party insurance mandatory for motorcycle in Malaysia? So that is the first question. And the second one, is the insurance related to riders, owners, or motorcycle itself? And the third one, what is the estimate of the motorcyclists holding the insurance?
Okay, thank you. If the third-party insurance mandatory for motorcycle in Malaysia, yes, I think it's mandatory for all riders in Malaysia to have an insurance. So if they cannot have the first party, they should have a third party, because in order for them to renew license, they need insurance. So that will be number one. Second one, the insurance related to riders or no itself. Yes, the insurance is actually related to the, for now, I think the third party is basically related to the motorcycle. So it is not really cover the owner. So the basic, the mandatory is, it should cover the motorcycle itself. Number three, what is the estimate of the motorcyclist holding the insurance? I think the registration or the one who holding the license should have the insurance. So I'm not really sure the estimate of the motorcycle. I think maybe out of all the licensed motorcyclists in Malaysia, I think maybe 90%. Okay. I hope that I answer your question, Mr. Mohsen.
Okay, the third one from Mr. Duncan. Does the rating system give a higher rating for corner ABS as compared to traditional motorcycle ABS? He knows
okay.
150cc Yamaha achieved 5 stars, but has basic ABS.
Yes, actually, it's just the way we plan for the rating, actually, because this is just the initial stage. So for now, we just give the rating where if the motorcycle is fit with ABS, because currently in Malaysia, there is no regulation toward ABS to be mandatory. So that's why we push for the minimal or the basic brake system first. So for now, if they equip with the basic ABS, so we give the rating. So hopefully, if the regulation for the ABS it's mandatory, so maybe we could change or maybe upgrade how we give rating to the ABS. So because in Malaysia we plan to make it mandatory for ABS starting next year for all motorcycle with 150cc above. So maybe during that time as well, we may need to upgrade the rating system for more stringent technology for the brake system. Okay.
So hopefully the question is already answered. All right, so we go to the next question. We've got quite a number of questions though. It's very good. All right, so the next question from Mr. McIntosh. He thanked us for the presentation and also mentioned that in Australia, there is a MotorCap program which rates motorcycle clothing and also includes helmets, both in terms of safety, comfort, and etc. So he realized clothing may be difficult issues in this topic, but perhaps you have or could have a link to this.
Yes, I think this is a good question because we're already aware of this MotorCap program in Australia, but what we observe throughout the world, there is no holistic system that rate the motorcycle and also how the riders as well. So it's not like motorcycle passenger car. So actually, very soon actually. We also plan to launch a motorcycle helmet rating system, I think in this coming October in Philippines. So what we plan for the motorcycle helmet is we plan to have ASEAN helmet rating for ASEAN region. So that's actually already in plan. So like you mentioned, yeah, it's difficult to measure the clothing for now because I think in Asian country most people don't wear this type of safety gear like the complete jacket like in other region, for example Europe, because here it's more like normal or everyday people who use motorcycle. So it's not like leisure riding like in other part of the world. Perhaps maybe we in later stage maybe we might as well consider that. Thank you, Mr. McIntosh.
All right, thank you for that. Okay, so we move on to another question from Mr. Leonard. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. What has the response been from manufacturers and importers to this program?
Yes, initial support or response from the manufacturer is a bit lukewarm, but since we engaged them, I think almost 3 years now, so they are starting to understand how this rating will help or also save lives. So they are getting, I think, ready to join. So for example, Yamaha, I think they just joined the program early this year. So they even support our call for the last pillar, that support program. So based on our pillar, they actually create training program specifically for the model, if you can recall what I showed earlier in the slide. So the support is there, and hopefully that all motorcycle manufacturers in Malaysia could join the program soon. Right. Okay. Next.
All right, thank you. So next from Mr. Hazelton. Will the program be evaluated using crash data? If so, is the current crash data adequate to determine the safety rating of the motorcycles and the training provided to the rider?
Yes, but for now because the program is still new, so we don't really have the exact crash data that can relate to the what we call direct result or impact from the program. So, but we hopefully by maybe next years or 2 years, maybe we relate by the program progress, and also how actually the program impact the safety user through the crash data that we also collect. Because in MIROS we also have another unit who focus on crash in construction or crash investigation. So by through the team, we also can gather the motorcycle who involved in the accident, whether those the one who involved is actually the one who we rate through the program. Let's say, for example, maybe the motorcycle model that involved will be lesser from the one who managed to get 5 stars, so something like that. All right, thank you.
All right, so thank you very much. So we move on to another question from Ahmad. Thank you so much for presentation. So his question is, how many motorcycle models have been assessed in Malaysia, and how or where can we see the assessment results?
So far, because the program just launched since last year, so up until now, there are only about 6 models that we already assessed. So the result can be accessed through the website. Actually, the website is mymap.com.my. So if you want to see the result, and also we share everything on the website, actually you can see each model how many points they score. So everything is on the website. So maybe I can share you. I can type in the window itself what is the website. Thank you.
Okay, so we move on to another question, okay, from Mr. Duncan again. Currently, the rating focuses on braking performance, such as ABS. Will it be expanded to active and passive systems, such as AEB and blind spot warning? Will any be work done on crash protection features, for example, rider airbags?
Yes. If you see, I don't know, you can see my screen now. I'm sharing you the roadmap. So we actually put into our roadmap where the program should be. So all the technology that you mentioned here, actually we are planning for it to be included in the future rating. So for now, we list the item under the research and development. So we want to see whether this is ready even for motorcycle to have this feature. So basically, I think for larger bike in Malaysia and other part of the world, I think a lot of technology already there already. But for smaller motorcycle in Malaysia, I think that will need some time. So hopefully we can have this feature as soon as possible. So maybe the next time, maybe we can include further technology into our rating system. So actually, for you mentioned also on ABS, actually we actually last May we already start the testing and also development the ABS for motorcycles. So last May we invite Autoliv to have demo test in our lab in Malaysia on whether is it possible to have an airbag. So for that one, we collaborate with Autoliv and also Yamaha motorcycle. So we ask Autoliv to install the airbag into the motorcycle, and we crash the motorcycle to see whether is it something is feasible. So in short, it's actually something that we're also looking at, and we already collaborate with Yamaha if those technology can be on the market sooner. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. So next question would be from Mr. Mio Mohammed Haris. The star rating is from 1 to 5. Will there be a minimum star rating for the motorcycles to be allowed on the road, since the lower rating since the lower the rating, the more it will endanger the other riders?
It's possible because the rating is independent. It's not like regulation, so we cannot force the motorcycle with lower star to be not on the road, because that will be covered under the government regulation. So I think it's more like a consumer program, so that consumers should have better awareness, and so if the lower rating should equate to the lower or less safe motorcycle, so they can have better choice to choose a better motorcycle. So in short, your question is not something that we plan to regulate. It's another program just like NCAP, so that this is more on for the consumer to refer to.
Okay, so I hope Mr. Mio is satisfied with the answer. All right, so another question from Dr. Chika. Thank you very much for the informative presentation. So the question is, are there evaluation plans of MyMAP in terms of death and injury reductions? This will require data on registrations or purchases of MyMAP rated motorcycles and death and injury date link with MyMAP rating. It would also be important to assess which components of MyMAP is contributing to death and injury reduction. This would be vital information for scaling up this kind of program.
Okay, to be honest, I think we haven't thought about this yet, but it's something interesting for us to look. Thank you, Dr. Chika. So it's good idea for us to get us into, even maybe we can put this as well in our roadmap as well. Thank you.
So we don't have any more question and answer from the chat. So perhaps while waiting for our participant to some kind of like create the question for you. So I myself have one question.
Okay.
Being Malaysian, so I think we've got like what you already showed us is actually very interesting for us to have the rating for our motorcyclists. And my question would be, what are among the challenges that you have already experienced on evaluating the star rating, and how your team overcome all the challenges?
I think the biggest hurdle so far is to get the participation from the motorcycle manufacturer, because it's not something that is mandatory and it's not required by the law. So is to get them to be interested to join the program is something really a challenge in the beginning. So the way we manage that is through to get at least one manufacturer to join the program. So through that, because the majority of the market in Malaysia is actually monopoly by the bigger manufacturers, for example, Honda and Yamaha. So the lower or not say the lower, the minority, for example, the motorcycle manufacturer like I think SYM from Taiwan manufacturer actually. So we somehow managed to convince them, because from their point of view, they need this kind of program or exposure as well, because they want to market their product. So with this assessment and also this kind of achievement, they can somehow promote this something to promote their product. So with 5-star and their product, one among the first product to have 5-star for their model. So that's how we managed to attract the first manufacturer to join the program. So with the program, actually, they have increased in terms of sales because they receive more wide recognition through their customer, and also because they are among actually the first one who install ABS brake system for their lower CC motorcycle 185, because that model is not the bigger bike. So through that, we are lucky to have them to join the program. So with that, we managed to show how the program will help the manufacturer to gain more recognition. So through the first support from the manufacturer, we managed to convince the major share in the market, like for example, from Yamaha to join the program, because the market leader actually in Malaysia is Yamaha. So we are glad for them to finally join the program this year. All right, I hope I answered your questions.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, you are. Yeah. And do we have another question from the audience? Any more questions from the audience? We've got quite an impressive number of turn up. We've got around 40, more than 40 participants from various countries in ASEAN, as well as from ASRS team, Australia and also New Zealand. Perhaps do you have any future plans in collaborating with another team from the other country? For example, say countries with the same problems, or especially in ASEAN countries, we've got the motorcycle user would be almost the same. The CC, the motorcycle CC that has been used are almost the same. So any plan for collaborating with another team from another country, Mr. Zaril?
Yes, actually we just came back from Japan, so we went directly to Japan to meet the manufacturer, those majority share in the market, like for example Honda and also Yamaha. So we went directly to the main principal in Japan to present our plan for the, like I mentioned earlier, that we plan to convert this not only just MyMAP, the Malaysian market, so we plan to the Asian map. So we present the case for them how we want this to be a program similar to what we have for ASEAN NCAP. So they are keen to work further together on establishing this. So hopefully we can move further to announce it as Asian map soon. So hopefully by next year, when our track is ready, so we can have our first test in the track, and maybe we can announce it as Asian map toward the end of 2024.
Well, that sounds impressive. So perhaps there are also researchers from the country that use that motorcycle can simply involve in helping the ASEAN roadmap, okay, into further.
Yes. Yes, actually we welcome any researcher or even lecturer who willing to join us, because there are a lot of areas that need to be studied. For example, the new technology that we are list in the area here, like for example, ESC, AEB. So this technology still need to be research and development test. So we are welcome anyone who interested to join us and also be part of the program, even to evaluate how the program actually give impact to the country.
All right, so thank you. So I think we've got another question from an anonymous participant. Most motorcyclist riders in Malaysia come from low to middle income groups. What is the outreach strategy to approach and encourage riders to acquire motorcycles with a higher MyMAP rating, given that their primary consideration would be the cost factor? So I think this is actually a very interesting question. Not only applicable to Malaysia, but also the other ASEAN countries.
Right. That's why we try to engage with local insurance for now to give sort of discount for their insurance if they buy the motorcycle with higher rating, for example 5-star. So that is our plan on how we can reach this low to middle income group. So maybe the insurance is one part of the initiative and also or incentive. So another one that we are planning is maybe if the rider or the user can have sort of digital program, maybe some sort of apps that link to the insurance. So maybe if they not only buy the motorcycle with high rating, a high star, but if they can manage the rider with less fault, maybe they can get more in terms of they can accumulate points, so that can also be considered as a point that they can accumulate to get reduction further for the insurance. So that's among other things that we are looking to reach the rider with low income.
All right. Okay. So I think there are no more questions, and perhaps if anyone would still like to, kind of extend some discussion with Mr. Zaril, perhaps can send him an email at zarilhafiz@miros.gov.my. So I think we can close the session, and thank you very much, our speaker, Mr. Zaril, and thank you everyone for attending to this webinar. And before we leave, I would also like to promote ACRS, in which ACRS stands for Australian College of Road Safety, and we've got ACRS International Outreach Chapter, IOC, which is an extension of the demonstrated road safety value of the ACRS, which began in Australia and is a welcome addition to the 8 chapters which have been running localized activities across Australia and New Zealand. So this initiative is being supported by the Australian Department of Infrastructure, Transport, Cities and Regional Development. So once you leave today's webinar, you will also receive a survey on the presentation, and we would appreciate if you would complete that and provide your feedback, and certificate of participation will be provided once you complete the feedback form. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a link to review or to view a recording of today's webinar. So on behalf of ACRS International Outreach Chapter and the School of Civil Engineering University Technology MARA, as well as our presenter, thank you again for joining us today, and have a great rest of your day. So thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And we'll see you in the next round of webinar. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.